A Build Hatch developed production.
Hello, I'm Aaron Kyle and welcome to another episode of Build Hatch. On this week's episode of Build Hatch, I got to sit down with Oliva and Keeley from Something More Design, who are designing some of Australia's most incredible interior design projects. These guys have an office in Newcastle, which allows them to work right up and down New South Wales, including all around Sydney, and they are particularly leading the charge, designing and managing retail spaces, including leading Sydney restaurants, cafes and other commercial fit-outs like beauty and hair salons. I really enjoyed this week's chat, and particularly hearing the story of how their perfect combination works well, an interior designer and a graphic designer, allowing Something More Design to manage their clients' entire branding, all the way to the end consumer who gets to experience their beautifully crafted spaces. Like I said, plenty of insight into the practical founders and designers behind Something More Design. So let's get into it. Keeley and Oliva from Something More Design, welcome to Build Hatch.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
That's okay. Now, this is always exciting to get another perspective on the construction industry, and I'm really looking forward to this one. So we always like to take it back to our guests and find out a bit about Keeley and Oliva and how you guys got into your industry. So take us back to the very beginning.
We both actually didn't know each other, and Liv, it's a very funny story, reached out to me on Facebook, Instagram, and was like, I've got kind of a cool idea. I'm a graphic designer. I want to work with an interior designer. I do cool commercial things. And then when I got the message at first, like we had no idea who each other were. And for some reason, I instantly was like, I want to do that. Like that sounds cool. So
what were you doing at the time?
I was just doing residential interiors. So I was still working part-time. I was actually working with the boys from Meet as a waitress there. And then just doing residential on the side, styling, a bit of property styling and stuff. And always wanted to get in the commercial market. And yeah, we met and kind of got along straight away, and it really just kind of flowed from there, didn't it?
Yeah.
So Keeley, you're in interior design.
Yes.
And Oliva, you're in graphic design.
Yeah.
Pretty good combination, isn't it?
Yeah.
We found it's worked really well.
Yeah.
There was a lot of crossover in
Yeah.
the beginning. Like I found when I was doing branding and things like that, people would kind of cross over into the shop front and like signage and stuff like that. So that's where I had the idea from. That's why I thought it'd be good to get in touch with an interior designer and just see where we could take things. So I just looked on Instagrams and tried to find someone with like a similar style to what I wanted. And just kind of went from there. And
were you working for yourself at the time, Oliva?
No, I had finished uni and I was working for a few different agencies. I worked in Sydney, the Central Coast and things like that. But I was looking to do something a little bit different. I was just working for big agencies that were mainly marketing and stuff like that. And I wanted to get more into the branding and designing and being creative.
It's cool how you both didn't know each other and sort of reached out socially and
people always think we've known each other forever in that, but we just caught up and both have very strong, I think, passions and alignment with how we both operate and how we want our clients to feel in that. So we just straight away had a very strong business vision, I think, and
our values really aligned, and the way we wanted to even like run the business as well, and how we wanted our staff to be and that kind of thing.
Now the name's Something More Design. I love the name. So I always guests love this part because I always go, was it the first choice? Like tell us the story.
It took ages. We went through so many different things.
I can't even remember the other options now.
Neither can I. But it took a long time. We were like playing with it for ages.
And then I think I saw like this little just snippet on a photo and it said Something More, and I sent it to Liv. I think that's where it started. And then we were like, we really like that. And then we started putting it together even more, and we were like, well, we're combining services and giving clients that something more. So, and like a lot of our stuff will say, we'll just add something more to that, and we don't even mean it, but it fully sounds like we're like really ripping the business. So, but it very just kind of flowed very easily with what we're trying to do. So, It
could be like those cool clips that you see over the years where they they influence someone's decision during the day and they don't know it. And then you could have meetings and just say something more. Is there something more you'd like? Or, and then all of a sudden like, wow, that's something more. There's something about those guys.
You can kind of see clients like giggle when we say it. We're like, oh, we don't even mean to like add that in there, but it works. So look, that's great. So what about like the early days? Were you thinking about going out on your own and starting together? Did you kind of grow on the side and grow it organically like that? Like, how did you sort of formulate that?
I think it was a side thing for both of us in the beginning. And then just as we had more clients and got busier and busier, we just, gravitated towards it.
Yeah, we started out in like Liv's parents' house, just on our computers there. And then we moved to a small little studio space in Hunter Street.
Yeah, no aircon. That was great.
Yeah, no aircon. Really old building, but it was beautiful. And then from there, we got a lot of work in Sydney. So I was traveling a lot down there, and we just thought, I wonder if we get a shop space up here, if people will see us a little bit more. And then we ventured to King Street and had our little King Street shop there. And straight away it did what we needed it to do, like got us noticed. And it was probably like 80% Sydney, 20% Newcastle. And now it's pretty even, isn't it?
I'd say like at this very moment it's probably more Newcastle.
Yeah, which we wanted. Like we just... There's so much going on up here and so many cool projects and creatives that we really wanted to bring that spark with what we're doing in Sydney as well up here. So,
Yeah, and it's been sort of quite fascinating to watch, and it sounds very cliche, but I actually think a lot of the change up in Newcastle's actually happened in the last couple of years. Like it's kind of been a bit of a hockey stick where it's actually started to that growth and change has actually started to speed right up over the last couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. So it's such a good community, like everyone we meet, and we've formed such good relationships with like clients and just trades. The design community. It's small, but it's like so supportive. So it's not, I don't know. Sydney's very like hustle bustle, like who's going to be the best, where we find a lot of people in our industry all support each other and want everyone to do well, which is good. So
the construction industry is, very collegiate up here, and most people want to help and support each other.
Exactly.
Oh, that's exciting. So take us through a typical project. I mean, with your graphic design background, Olivia, and your interior design background, like, are they on similar parallels, or like how does it sort of formulate from the start?
Yeah, so we kind of combine the process of branding and interior design together, which isn't traditionally done. So in branding, we do a strategy to start with, and we look at the clients' customers and who they want to attract, and we do this really in-depth strategy, looking at their competitors and all of that kind of thing, which isn't traditionally done in interior design. They do it a little bit, but not as in-depth as we do. And we did that strategy in the beginning, and then we used that for both the branding and the interior. So Keeley was getting like a really good like in-depth look at the client and what they want and what they want to make of their interiors as well. So we do that strategy in the beginning, and we develop a visual direction that kind of is a roadmap for the rest of the project. And then from there, we collaborate the whole way through. We'll design some logo concepts and put a brand presentation together, and Keeley will start doing the floor plans, and when they get approved, then she'll start doing like the 3Ds, and we just collaborate through that process, making sure that everything's going to flow really well from the colors of their brand to their interiors. Like even playing with concepts, like we're doing a project at the moment and we're using a lot of like transparency in their interior design, and we're going to bring that across to their branding and use that within that as well. So that it flows across the both.
I'd imagine it'd be quite beneficial for a client where they come on board, say they're looking for a shop fit out or a commercial fit out, and then it's kind of like you do these amazing interiors and you design those. I think it would just naturally fit. I'd imagine you get to the end and the client says, you know what, our logo is just not cutting it, and our branding doesn't match this brand new interior space. Well, by the way, we can do something more.
Yeah,
you know,
for
like
sure.
it's just
yeah, for sure. Like, a lot of clients, if they don't come to us wanting both services straight away, they kind of find that they do a little bit later on. So if they just do branding and then they find, oh, we need to update our space too, or they just do their space and they're like, oh, we need our branding to match now. 100%. That happens most of the time.
And that's where we kind of got the business idea from, that people do. They update their beautiful interiors and spend this money and time, and then they've just kind of got like a little word logo that it's just such a big thing these days, I think, especially for commercial spaces, to have that strong branding. And it's not just through a logo, it's through how you present yourself, like how people feel when they walk in. We get a lot of clients and they feel silly sometimes. They're like, we want it to be Instagram worthy, and we're like, that almost needs to be a thing in the dictionary now, because that's what a lot of our jobs are. We try to make it that Instagram worthy. We want people to walk in and take photos and post about them, and almost as free advertising. So that's where it kind of both comes from, that you need both those strong elements to really create a whole brand in one. Otherwise it can just get a bit disjointed, and we find people are still at the end like, oh, we wish we did that or that. So from the onset, if it's both of it, it just works really, really well.
If I was sort of listening to this and thought, all right, well, maybe I do need some branding, because there's people out there who actually find they don't need extra work.
Yeah, definitely.
And those people sometimes think, well, that doesn't necessarily mean I don't need branding. So if they were listening to this and thought, all right, well, can you give us examples of what a tradie or a subby or a builder would think, all right, well, what could be done to overhaul my branding?
We definitely get a lot of our work is together, but then a lot of our work is still, I would just do interiors or Liv would just do a branding, which, a solid brand, especially how you look, your website, your social media, it just makes you stand out from the rest. Like, it's such a big thing these days that people will go on Instagram quickly, will look at your website quickly, and if they don't like the look in a few seconds, logically people just back out. Like, it's
I'll just move on and doesn't hit my buttons.
So if a builder or
brandings also can influence perceived value as well. So like, if the brand portrays a particular, like a high-end sort of feel, then you might be able to raise your prices as well. Not necessarily offering anything different, but like, you've got that professional feel, that professional look, and people expect a higher price point.
Because
they perceive the value.
You're 100% on the money, pardon the pun, because it's kind of like, if you get the opportunity to be in front of a client, well, you need to dress, smell, present, look the part. And so when you're talking about money, and if you dress all that back, at the end of the day, you're delivering a service in exchange for money, then the first thing that comes to people's mind, well, is their brand a premium brand to match the price? Or that won't apply on every single job, but it's very important to know that.
For sure. It's just, I think a lot of our clients as well, they do align with our values and things like that, and how they want to come across to their clients. And sometimes it is builders and tradies and that who just want to get to that next level, and redoing your branding can create such a huge impact that I don't think people realize can take you that next step, that next 10 steps if you need. So really just puts you ahead of others a lot of the time.
Okay, so like, do you have like an actual example of someone who's come to you and said, right, Keeley and Olivia, I need help. I need to get some more customers, or I need to get some better clients. Like, what happened?
So we did, they're called the Mayflower now in Sydney, and they didn't want to do too much with their interiors and that, just a really simple fit out. And then kind of halfway through the job, our client said, just go for it. Like, let's do something cool. Let's do something amazing. So the building used to be a really old florist, so we really played into that. And they have just absolutely, since doing that, taken off. Like their brand, their interiors, everything has gone crazy, and now they're on their second restaurant that we're about to open.
It's been that successful. They've actually had another restaurant or cafe.
So their plan is to basically not franchise, but they want to continuously keep opening them over Australia over the next few years. And just how they've come across on social media, people go in there and instantly take photos and post, and it gets a lot of influencers in there and stuff like that. So
what does it look like? Like if people are listening to this, what
it's
are they
very girly.
seeing?
It's very like pink and flowers and really went beautiful onyx marbles, velvets, things like that. So it was a fun one to do. Like they just said, let's fully go into it. Let's do something cool. Where before, I think if they kept with just the little revamp of the cafe, I think they just still would have been a little cafe. Like I don't think it would have gone as far as it has been.
So could you like work with, like, because in that example, you're basically given a shell.
Yep.
And these guys have started, demolishing or opening up this shell, this future cafe, and then like did they come to you and say, here's how things will be sort of arranged and seated, or did you have input into that as well?
We kind of did from A to Z with them. So
a full suite.
Yeah. And because it was such a small space, smaller spaces can sometimes even be harder than bigger spaces to really nail like the flow and seating and all that stuff. So just really tried to make it functional with the size that they had. And now they're pretty much always booked out, can hardly get in. So and now their restaurant is going to be more of a higher, like their food's amazing, their chefs are awesome. So their restaurant will really cater to that high-end type market. And they've just kind of gone for it.
I think you said something important there where people have come to interior designers too late, and it's always important. And I've even chatted about this previously on the show many times where timing is everything. So getting you guys involved is equally as important as getting the architect involved.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, as Liv said before, we'll get halfway through projects and people will start to see why we do band together, and they will go, all right, let's add on branding or let's add on interiors. And it just forms this completely different approach to, I think, what they expected or what they're used to. I don't think most of the time, like our strategy that Liv discussed, we do go very in depth in some of the questions, and that you can see clients, like one of them, for example, is who is your brand as a celebrity? Like who would you pick them out? And they sit there like, I have no idea. And half the time they're like, I don't know, is this stupid? Like Bradley Cooper. And we're like, no, that's fine. Like, so it's just really getting to understand who they are, but also who their brand is, because at the end of the day, it's not just about our clients. It's about where they want to go, who they want to attract, how much they want to grow, like,
future goals and everything like that.
Yeah. So at the start, you can see their faces. They're like, why are they asking such random things? And then when they get the strategy from us, they're like, oh, wow. Like it's almost as if they're rereading who they are and who their brand is in a completely different way.
We always get the same reaction. Everyone is always so like shocked about it, and they're like, this is so good, this is what's been in my head, but like put into something concise that they can actually see as a business plan sort of.
Yeah, well, it kind of forces them to really paint a picture and get things describing where they see themselves or what they want to be.
Yeah.
And
kind of like a roadmap to get there kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that roadmap for sure.
Yeah.
Now, Liv, having a graphic design background, what are some of the things in construction that you've seen, whether it's advertising or signs on utes or whatever it might be? Is there something that you see that you think it's always done, like it's always overdone, and you think, why don't they just do this? Or
I mean, people do follow trends sometimes, and that's when they find that it was a trend then and now they need to redo it like within a year or so. I guess what I see most of the time is people just putting something together for the sake of it. Like they'll just jump on the computer and throw something together, and it doesn't align with like their values or their goals or where they want to be. And they find that disconnection, but they're not sure about what's going on or why that's happening. I think everyone really needs to focus on letting the brand tell their story and who they are and what they want and what they're here for and what they're going to give to their clients. I think that's a really big deal.
Yeah, I think so too. And like you said, just sort of going that extra step and almost forcing yourself to take a step back and look at what do people think about your business. I mean, there'll always be people who don't care and they don't need to care. And at the moment, we're recording this in 2022. The construction industry is booming. That won't always be the case. So it's also about having branding and marketing for a rainy day when things do start to slow down a bit.
Yeah, for sure. And like if you're really focused on like being sustainable and stuff like that, you need to reflect that in your brand so you're attracting people and you're showing that point of difference.
Is there an ideal client that you just love having? Like someone who obviously comes in from the start. Do they have plans drawn up, or can I come to you if I don't have plans? And
yeah, definitely. Probably our ideal client is we get a lot of new businesses. So they're just starting up or they've been in business a little while and they just want to go that next level.
Like a refresh.
Yeah. So pretty much, from the start, they need plans, they need 3D, they need help with everything, they need branding, logos, websites. So
you guys do the whole lot.
Yeah. So we just try and say to people we work from A to Z. So we can do your logo, your website, your brand, and then we can do your floor plans, your finishes, your council work, like just all the things that you need.
Like your website is an extension of your brand. It's just like your online salesperson, and so is your packaging, and then so is your interior. So it makes sense.
And then now we're especially finding social media too. We haven't really delved deep into it, but we keep getting clients. Just even photos we post, they're like, how do you take that angle? Or like, well, send me those photos, we want them. And I think we also just look at it from a different perspective, being on site and like with their printing and things like that. So we're starting to get into that social media side of, all right, we've done your branding, you've got all that sorted, we've done your beautiful space, you've got that ready, let's portray it now to your future customers. And really from start to finish, it all flows. So we would find that we'd get beautiful branding and beautiful interiors, and then a photo would be posted and we're like, oh God. So just making sure everything as a whole, they speak to each other. And
if people listen to this and they think, well, is Facebook still relevant? Are we just more Instagram? Do we need to do TikTok as well? Like what's your whole perception of that?
I have joked to Liv that we need to get on TikTok.
Like I'm too old for that.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of does, doesn't it? Like I sometimes I think I come from a different planet anyway, but I must admit, like it's your flat chat having Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Let alone Facebook and
and
I mean, again, I'm no expert, but I feel like Facebook's kind of starting to get a bit old. Instagram's still relevant, and then TikTok, well, it's kind of the same thing. You can't help but think, oh, it's just a pain in the ass. I have to do something else.
Yeah, I think Instagram is our biggest.
It's definitely where we get most of our inquiries from.
It's definitely our biggest like revenue stream. I think anything we post or people will go back through, and people use it as a portfolio, I feel, more than websites now. So even, for example, the other night, my partner and I were looking where to go to dinner, and I said, I think they close Mondays. And instead of going to Google, we went to Instagram to see if they were open. So I think your Instagram presence is still so huge. Facebook, yes, I think for an older demographic, people will still go on and use it. We're not, like, we don't even really focus on Facebook that much.
No.
It's kind of just automated, isn't it, really? Like what you do to Instagram.
Just
goes
posts.
on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then things like TikTok, like I think if you did it in a clever way, you could definitely get far, but like we won't be dancing or anything, showing our samples. So.
It's a bit, like taking the mickey, isn't it really?
Yeah,
like, you know, you can see the inspired unemployed and guys like that that are paint that picture of a construction setting, or you might have some apprentices that feel like playing up on a Friday and making something funny. But it does have that element of taking a bit.
I think you could definitely do it in a educational sense, which we would probably go down that way. And like before and after photos and videos like go huge on TikTok. So I think if you were a more serious business and you did want to get into it, I would look at being very educational before and afters, rather than dancing and pointing at things. So
All right. So if I'm like a potential client, do you guys cover commercial, residential, industrial, like everything? Like tell us what's an ideal sort of project or a typical project?
We're majority commercial, just being branding and interiors. We have taken on a few residential projects.
Yeah.
But we're mostly commercial.
Yeah. To get, I guess, the most out of our business, we are typically commercial. Residential we definitely do, but we try and not be picky about it, but larger kind of from the ground up type jobs. And then we kind of work with all different types of people, architects, builders. We really try with our builders and people who we also, I guess, suggest and that make sure they have the same values as us as well. Because I think in the construction industry and this industry, our clients, a lot of the time, they've saved all this money to do this and start this big project. For example, we get a lot of salons and beauticians, and typically they're either growing from their first space or they're opening a brand new salon. So we really try and make sure that everyone we work with, construction's a stressful industry and things go wrong and so we really try and make sure our team around us, from our team in the office to our teams on site to our installers, like even like people putting like decals on the windows and that, they really try and align with us. So you won't always get that, but we just try and make, I guess, this process as exciting for clients as it is for us. So and
as easy as possible.
Like you said, it can be very stressful, and I'd imagine too, you often have particularly clients that are in that space, they may not have been experienced in construction before, so they don't always know what to expect. And I think holding their hand and walking them through that process, like you said, is very important, and clients need that and want that too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like we really try and understand that, our like hair salon clients, they've never been in the construction game, so they don't know about the things that go wrong on site and things like that. So, we just really, at the start, I think everyone is so excited and pumped and so happy to see what we've created. So we just like to try and keep that energy all the way through to the end to make sure that what they saw from us at the start has actually been brought to life by our trades and builders and that. So,
After coming through COVID last year, what are some of the cool things, like in, say, the salon space that are really cool and quirky and people are sort of wanting nowadays?
Colour, and that is coming in a lot. The last few years, everything used to be very neutral and simple and clean, but you'll find, because everyone has kind of been locked indoors and trapped the last 2 years, that people want to do exciting things where our clients are, we feel, taking a lot more risks, adding more colour, adding something quirky, and just really wanting to be different to the rest, which we love. Like that's what we push for, and our style is still very like sleek and simple, but it's very detailed. Like it's things up close that you might not see at the start, and just little edgy elements that make their space different.
What about spaces? Like, are you finding people are wanting more space? Like instead of cramming everyone in, this more sort of feeling a bit more relaxed because it's a bit more open?
For sure, yeah. I think like salons and beauticians and restaurants especially, with COVID, you need that extra space now. Otherwise, people are quite uncomfortable if you are in a smaller space. So yeah, I think a lot of our clients are thinking about the flow of their commercial spaces, how people move around it, where they sit, how comfortable it is. Where before, I don't think it was really ever thought about. Like, you'd go to restaurants and be crammed next to 10 other people and people be bumping you and walking past, where now it's a whole experience to go and enjoy something. You've got to be comfortable. You've got to like the look of it. You've got to like the feel of it. The menu has to be easy to read. Like, people are just so on it these days that if it's not easy, like, they're gone. So yeah, I think people are really starting to think in depth about how their customers and that feel at the moment. So yeah,
for sure.
Which is good.
Yeah, look, I'm no trendsetter or anything like that, so this is just purely just a personal experience. Like, everyone knows people are spending more money on their at-home entertainment sort of spaces.
Yeah.
And so I actually think, due to labour shortages, increase cost of employing people, things like that, I actually think people value going out for dinner, maybe not as much pre-COVID, but they're prepared to spend more money on a decent meal to have that really cool setting. You know, they're there with good company, having a few drinks, having a nice meal. They're not crammed, like you said, and they're probably prepared to pay a bit more money to do that.
Definitely.
In a completely different setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because people can't travel and do things like that now.
Yeah, I think it's just valuing those spaces and thinking outside the square, and you know, injecting more colour and light, like you just said before. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, look, I've really loved this, and I always love getting a perspective from you guys, and you know, particularly interior designers that are absolutely killing it in this space at the moment. You guys are doing some amazing projects, so well done to you guys. People listening to this who want to get into contact with you, what's the best way to go about it?
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah. Just shoot us a message on Instagram. Yeah. And like, our email and everything's on there as well. So
we're updating our website at the moment, so don't judge it. Just getting all new photos and marketing, and we see our clients investing in their businesses and leveling up, so we're starting to go through that now as well and try and hit that next phase of our business. So and hopefully in a few weeks.
Back to the website. So do people need to have like a really fancy website? Can it just be something really simple that's on Squarespace? Like, what?
All our websites are in Squarespace.
All of them?
Yeah. We do custom CSS to make sure that it's not just a template, and it's custom to the brand and individual. But we tend to do that because it's easy for our clients to use.
So they can just go to you. You've just upgraded their graphic design, Liv, and then they can just put the logo and the text in there.
Yeah. So we create their websites for them, and we use Squarespace because of that really simple, easy to use interface. So I find that if you create something too full on for a client and they don't know how to use it, they won't touch it, and it'll be literally a waste of money. So as long as they can use it and update it and it works for them, that's going to work. So that's why we use Squarespace most of the time.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, really handy. So for anyone listening to this who's looking at having a brand redesign or a logo design, or you've got a really cool space that you're working on, you want to bring some guys that know what they're doing and bring them on board, I encourage everyone to check you guys out and get into contact. So Keeley and Liv from Something More Design, it's been really nice to talk to you. So thanks for coming on to Build Hatch.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Good chat.
Well, that was another Build Hatch episode with Olivia and Keeley from Something More Design. And I love how these guys can look after their entire client's branding to suit the newly crafted spaces right behind their designs. They are certainly doing some magical things in the retail and commercial space. As usual, if you know a hard worker having a go in the construction space, or a building related business, person or product where you love what they are doing or selling, then please do get into contact with us. We'll be happy to tell their story and get behind their goods or services on the Build Hatch marketplace as well. Our team are busy rolling out independent sellers on buildhatch.com as we speak, so stay tuned for some more products and services as they onboard. As usual, please check out our own Instagram page and other socials. We'll be able to learn more about our guests and the features of the work that we talk about. Have a great week, and you hear me again on the airways next week. Thanks for listening to another episode of Build Hatch.
You have experienced a Build Hatch developed production.